Today we're talking about what could be the first commercial moon landing. But before we get into that, the right lighting can go a long way to setting the right mood for your next date night dinner, holiday party, or movie night. Smart LED light bulbs make it easy to customize the lighting in your home as much as you want. Maybe you want to deck out your family room with multicolored lights that you can control to your heart's content. Or maybe you're new to the smart home space and just want lights that you can schedule to turn on or off at certain times. Either way, smart lights are the best way to do all of this, and thankfully, they are some of the more affordable IoT items out there, coming in at roughly $10 to $50 per bulb. There are dozens available now, though, and we tested out many of the top smart light bulbs to see if they're actually worth your money. Not only will our guide lay out our top picks, but it will also help you understand the factors you should consider before picking the best smart light bulb for you. Head over to Engadget.com for the best smart light bulbs for 2024. And a basic smartphone used to cost upwards of $500, but those days are thankfully over. Now it's possible to find something that meets most of your needs for as little as $160. However, navigating the budget phone market can be tricky. Many options that look good on paper often aren't great in use, and some handsets will end up costing you more when you consider many come with restrictive storage. While we at Engadget spend most of our time testing and reviewing mid to high-end handsets, we've tested a number of the latest budget-friendly phones on the market to see which are actually worth your money. Our guide will help you find a bargain and maybe save you money as it highlights our top picks for the best cheap phones under $300 that you can get. Check out the best cheap phones for 2024 at Engadget.com. Houston-based space company Intuitive Machines is gearing up for an actual moonshot at the end of this month when it'll try to land a spacecraft named Odysseus on the lunar surface, ideally without it breaking in the process. The mission follows Astrobotic's unsuccessful attempt in January. That company's lander, Peregrine, never made it to the moon due to a propellant leak that cut its journey short. Peregrine's failure means Intuitive Machines' IM-1 mission could be the first ever commercial moon landing if it makes it there intact. Intuitive Machines is hoping to make its landing attempt on February 22nd, targeting the Malapert A crater near the moon's south pole for touchdown. The arrival date is dependent on Odysseus, one of the company's Nova C-class landers, leaving Earth atop a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket sometime between February 14th and February 16th. The launch window opens at 12:57 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. Odysseus is the first of 3 Nova C landers Intuitive Machines plans to send to the moon this year, all of which will have commercial payloads on board, and NASA Instruments has contracted under the agency's Commercial Lunar Payload Services CLIPS program. At 14 feet tall, 4.3 meters, the lander is roughly the size of a giraffe and can carry about 280 pounds, 130 kilograms, of cargo. Its mission, if it nails a soft landing, will be a short but potentially valuable one for informing future excursions to the region, including NASA's upcoming crewed Artemis missions. Orbiting probes have found evidence of water ice at the lunar South Pole, which could be used for astronaut subsistence and even fuel, making it an area of high interest for human exploration. The solar-powered craft and any functional equipment it's carrying are only expected to be in working condition for about a week before the onset of lunar night, a 14-day period of frigid darkness that the company says will leave the lander inoperable. But while everything's up and running, the various instruments will gather data at the surface. NASA awarded Intuitive Machines a $77 million contract for the delivery of its payloads back in 2019, and there are 6 NASA instruments now hitching a ride on Odysseus. One, the Laser Retroreflector Array, LRA, will function as a permanent location mark from its position on the moon after landing to help incoming spacecraft determine their distance from the surface, according to NASA. The lander is also carrying the Navigation Doppler LiDAR for precise velocity and range sensing, NDL, a sensor that measures velocity and altitude to better guide the descent, and the Lunar Node 1 Navigation Demonstrator, L1N, to support communication and autonomous navigation in future missions. NASA is also sending instruments to study surface plumes, everything that gets kicked up when the lander touches down, along with radio waves and the effects of space weather. That includes the stereo cameras for lunar plume surface studies, SCALPs, which will capture images of these dust plumes, and the radio wave observation at the lunar surface of the photoelectron sheath, Rolls' instrument. The rest of the payloads on board Odysseus are commercial. Columbia Sportswear worked with Intuitive Machines to incorporate the brand's Apollo-inspired OmniHeat Infinity Thermal Reflective Material, which is being used for this mission to help protect the cryogenic propulsion tank, according to Intuitive Machines. Students at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University developed a camera system dubbed the Eagle Cam that will attempt to separate from the lander before it touches down and snap a picture of the moment from a third-person point of view. Eagle Cam is also equipped with an experimental dust removal system. Now the pressure is on for the Odysseus Nova-C lander to actually get to the lunar surface safely. This year started off rocky for moon missions with the failure of Astrobotic's Peregrine and a descent hiccup that caused JAXA's SLIM spacecraft to faceplant into the lunar surface, though the latter was miraculously able to resume functions to some degree after a few days. Intuitive Machines will have other chances to get it right if it doesn't this time. It has multiple missions already booked up, but only one private lander can be first. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Today's show featured journalism by Engadget contributor Cheyenne McDonald and was produced by Spoken Layer. I'm Imran Sheikh, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
Spoken Layer.